Hi again, this is Rob Damron. I'm here again to talk to you about how to use pronouns. We all have a problem with pronoun usage, especially in today's vernacular. Everybody just throws pronouns wherever they want. I constantly have friends that will mix them up. They'll say, how about me and I go to the store, him and she went over to here. That's like taking a bagel and putting ketchup on it. That really doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Another problem that people have is they try to sound intelligent and they say, let's keep this between you and I, like there's some kind of French foreign minister or something, and that's improper. So most of the time what you say, and what I try to teach students is, if you write it and you say it and it sounds good to you, it's probably wrong. I mean, that's not really fair to say, but it's kind of true. All right, let's take a look at these words up here, nominative and objective. Really not going to mean too much to you. So what I like to say, instead of saying nominative, I like to say the good guys. It makes it a little easier for students to remember. I, he, we, she, it, and they are the good guys. They are used as a subject and subject complements. Well, complements, you're going to say, what the heck is that? Anything that follows a linking verb. Okay, if I'm going to use a pronoun and it's going to follow a linking verb, and now I have people saying, what the heck's a linking verb? All right, we don't want to assume anything. A linking verb is a verb you cannot do. For example, linking verbs are is, am, are, was, were, be, being, been, have, has, had, could, would, do, does, did, may, might, must. I can't stand up and do any of these. I can't stand up and was, although some students say they can stand up and do something else with that, but you can't stand up and was. So now I know I'm dealing with a linking verb. So how is this going to work out? Well, let's look at the subjects. If I have a choice and it says we, us, girls are doing something, going to the mall, whatever, this is used as the subject of the sentence. So I know it's going to be a good guy. So it's we girls. Now what you're thinking is, most of you constantly say us, us girls went to the mall, or us ladies are doing whatever. But again, used as a subject, we've got to use a good guy. So here we have we as a good guy. All right? Let's look at another example. Me or I. Okay? You wouldn't say, you sound like a caveman, you say, me am going to the store. Okay? Ugh. And that's typically what students say. They'll say stuff like that, me and so-and-so are going to the store. Well, basically, that's what you're saying is, me am going to store. All right? So again, it's used as the subject of the sentence. Therefore, I need to use a good guy. All right. Let's look at this other thing with this linking verbs. These verbs I can't stand up and do. Okay? If I say it was they or them, those are my choices, who got in a fight. So the principal comes to you and says, who got in a fight? And there's a group of kids here. Most times what kids are going to say is, it was them. Well, you was wrong, because it's a subject complement. It's following a linking verb. I cannot stand up and was. So it's got to be a good guy. Even though it sounds, again, if it sounds wrong to you, it's probably right. It was they. So if I'm answering the telephone, and I love this when I call people and I say, is Lori there? And they answer the phone, this is she. I know I'm speaking to somebody who's pretty intelligent. Not a lot of people answer the phone and they say, oh, may I speak with Mr. Damron? This is he. But guess what? That's how I do it. I do that in the professional environment. Okay? I want to make sure I do that. So there's a couple examples of a linking verb. Now let's take a second and let's look at the bad guys, the objective case. We're going to call these the bad guys. If you got good guys, you got to have bad guys. Me, him, her, us, them. The reason I call them bad guys is for the simple reason is that they are used incorrectly all the time. Let's first look at the instances of how they're used. They're used as a direct object, so you probably don't know, you're saying, what the heck's that? They receive the action of a verb. Action verbs, kicking, jumping, running, You know, like that thing on channel 1. Verb, it's like what you do. So the actions. So we have I kicked. That's a good action. I kicked he, or I kicked him. The simple answer is, well, this is a verb I can do. It's an action. That's a bad guy. Bad guys kick people. So who they're going to kick? They're going to kick him. All right? So real simple when we get to that. Now, here's another instance. If we look at actions, like I kicked her, I punched him, that's pretty simple. The one that tends to be a little more difficult is object of preposition. A preposition is just, a prepositional phrase is just a group of words that's going to add more information to something. It's going to give more detail. Like, I left my book. Where'd you leave your book? Inside the house. Inside the house is a prepositional phrase. However, if you're using pronouns in prepositional phrases, then you need to make sure that you are using bad guys. So, for example, you know, if somebody says, just between you and your choices are I or me, we know that this is a preposition, this is a prepositional phrase, I need to use a bad guy, object of a preposition. So it's just between you and me. Another instance of a prepositional phrase and how to identify it is you can take it out. Okay? I went to the mall with he or him. Okay? A prepositional phrase also can be taken right out of a sentence. So I went to the mall. That's still a sentence. This is the prep phrase. I can take it out. I know I'm dealing with a prep phrase. This is my preposition. I know object of preposition is going to be a bad guy, so I know I went to the mall with him. Now the last example I want to show you is if I went to the mall, let's keep with the same sentence here, with Paul and he, him, this is where we get into some problems. Because people say, I went to the mall with Paul and he, I went to the mall with Paul and him. One does sound better. The easiest way to do this is always kick that guy out. Whoever you're talking about, kick them out and then read the sentence. I went to the mall with him. All right? Let's keep this between Lori and I or me. So if we're between Lori and I or me, and we're not sure when I'm writing a sentence, and this is a formal paper I got to turn in, and I'm not sure with between Lori and I or me, all I got to do, kick her out. Get Lori out of there. Bye, Lori. Now read it. Between me or between I? Okay, let's keep this between me and you. Let's keep it between I. That doesn't make any sense. All right? So a lot of times what sounds right to you is going to be wrong, but when you're writing papers, you have to make sure that you're doing an agreement. So quick rehash. Good guys, I, he, we, she, it, they are going to be my subjects of the sentence. I went to the store. We went to the store. Also following linking verbs. It was they who stole it. It is she who won the award. And then we look at the bad guys following actions. I kicked him. I punched her. I threw them the ball. Object of a preposition. Let's keep this between you and me. And I think if we do that, we're going to do just fine with pronouns. Thank you.